Welcome to My Time to Shine. I'm your host, Emily.
Welcome back to the podcast. Today we have a very happy chappy with us today who is transforming lives through boxing and fire cooking. And here we have Wayne Smith. If you would like to do a little brief introduction of yourself for our guests, and a big welcome from us to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Emily. No, it's great to be here. So thank you. Yeah, so my story. So where do we start? So I'm an ex-boxer. Started. I was a young person that was travelling down the wrong directions in life, as the old story goes, and boxing changed my life and kept me on the straight and narrow. My coaches, who are sitting behind me there, you can see that's a picture of me and my coaches there. So they're always in my office because they changed my life. And so they got me on the straight and narrow, kept me in the gym, used sport to change my life, and I started competing as a boxer. I had a very short career as a boxer because I fell 30 foot through a scaffold and I damaged my back. So
Yeah.
that put paid to. But I did box one of the Furies. So I boxed one of the Fury cousins, and that's why I've got a bent nose now. But we won't talk about how that one went, but that was my claim to fame. But yeah, no, I then stayed in boxing. Like my coaches, Dave and Paul, they realised what would happen if they didn't keep me in the gym, and they come and made sure I stayed in the gym and put me on the coaching path. So I started coaching, started sweeping up, started learning everything around the boxing gym, and becoming the competition secretary, the T-boy, everything, just to keep me in the gym and doing everything. And I then progressed through the rankings, and I was a county coach for 3 years. I was a regional coach, and then I worked my way up, and I was on the England team. So I coached a lot of the champions that you see on TV today. I've worked with a lot of them. I had I think in my competition career, I had 11 national champions, 2 European, 1 world, and Olympic silver Olympic youth champion. And that was, I was doing that all the time. Like, so I was very heavily involved amateur boxing, and then I started Olympia boxing, which was my first business, which is still running today, and it goes into schools and communities and teaches young people the art of boxing, like non-contact style boxing, and as an introduction to keep them on the straight and narrow. And like, we work with the police and youth teams and early help teams and mental health charities, lots of stuff like that. So it's community interest companies I've got. And we were doing that since 2013. I started that. So it was off the back of the London Olympics, like off of the successes they had. It propelled us into the community, and there was a lot of need for it. So we've been going since then. And I then met Mark, my other business partner. We were working in the same tables all the time, and he's heavily involved in rugby league and wheelchair sports and stuff like that. So we created Sport on Your Doorstep, which is like a multi-sport program, and do exactly the same. So schools and communities, underserved communities, we go and work. Like, we literally, as the name says, sport on your doorstep. We literally take sport to people's doorstep. Like, if they're, we'll get reports from like local authorities saying, like, we've got an issue of antisocial behaviour up on this field near there, all hanging around on this bench in this field or something like that. And we'll just turn up and set up a sports session and just start working with the kids that way and take it right to them. And yeah, we've been doing that since 2019. That was going, and then I've got boxing in schools, a training provider, like an accredited course that I teach. Take it around. I've been international with that as well. I was in Paris last year with the British Schools of Paris, teaching teachers how to deliver boxing in schools, because it's getting more popular in there, because people are seeing the benefits of what boxing can do for young people. And it's not about the fighting or anything like that. Like I always say, because people have obviously, like, I've had that quite often. Teachers, you're teaching them to fight, and I said, I'm not. I'm teaching them exactly the opposite. Like, if you're teaching them the disciplines and the decision making and the fitness and the mental well-being of using their sport, rather than, like, like we at one stage we were teaching in 50 schools a week. Like, and like I said to people, we wouldn't be in one school if we were teaching them how to fight, you know. So, like, and lots of people have opened their eyes to that. So, hence why there ended up a training course for it. Now that I deliver it all over the place, but I then moved on to my next thing that all happened. So it's like it's never ending circle with me. I find something new to run with, like, because obviously the
Yeah.
businesses are quite well established now. So we've got a big team. So I'm fortunate. I can direct now, and I'm not hands on. Like I can't physically coach properly anymore. Anyway, I've had 2 hip replacements. So it kind of put paid to my coaching, but yeah, my other passion was cooking, cooking over fire, and my mum taught me how to cook from the age of 8,
Mm.
and
Oh,
we sadly she's not with us anymore, so it's like my connection with my mum still. And I'd always been cooking, and then I was cooking on barbecues, cooking outside, and it was like my switch off time. So
yeah.
like, I'd get home, I'd switch off, use the fire, and like it mentally helped me decompress from the day of work and everything like this, and like losing my mum, like that was like like that helping me with the grief, like being outdoors in the woods. Like I own a woodland that I've had because I like camping and stuff like that. And going there was kind of my savior. Like
Mm.
like my daughter as well has got a life changing condition called SMA, spinal muscular atrophy, and that news, as you can imagine, turns your family life upside down. So, and this all happened in quite a short space of time, the diagnosis and losing my mum and all that. So I went through a bit of a tough time, and like the doctors, they try and put you like, oh, talk to this therapist, and then pop these pills and stuff like that. And it
Yeah.
wasn't for me. I didn't like any of that. And what I actually found worked was I got outside in the woods and I camped
Mm.
and I sat around a fire with a mate and we cooked food and we drank some beer and we chatted, and that's what changed. Like, that's what got me well and made me get back to what I was, and also being happy again, and having that regular intervention of being outdoors in the woods like is absolutely fantastic.
Mm.
So with that, like, came another thing. I entered this competition called British Live Fire Cooking Championships with no expectations whatsoever, and and somehow I managed to make the final. So I got to the final, and I had to go to Ludlow Food Festival and be on stage with 2 other contestants and our assistants. And we had 3 days, 3 different themes that we had a competition cook off, like in front of an audience of a few hundred people, and it was quite a big deal. Like the winner got to go to America, to India,
Wow.
and
Amazing.
for the World Food Championships to compete for 100 grand. I'd love to say that was me, but it wasn't. I came third. So,
Oh.
but
So
ultimately I did win though, because it launched because I can waffle a bit, as you could tell, we're already 5 minutes in, and I'm on camera, I have the YouTube channel, the Amazon, Instagram of Daddy Bear Grills, and um, Cadai, the company, the barbecue, wanted to. They said, like, we'd want to put you up on stages like across the country. Would you be up for that? Like, and host fire stages, show people how to cook over fire, and entertain them and stuff like that. And I said, cool, that sounds like a hard gig, that one, doesn't it? I said, yeah, go on then, sign me up. So for the last year, I've been running up and down the country at all different festivals and cooking over fire, and it brought interest from an old business mentor of mine that wanted to invest into the business as well, and we started our own live fire cooking woodland experiences in my woodland finally. So it's yeah, it's been a bit of a whirlwind the last
yeah.
year, and
Yeah.
I don't get to sit still much often.
No. I wanna go back to the start. You said boxing changed your life. So can we go back there, and why did that change your life, and what kind of place were you in if it wasn't for boxing?
Yeah, so yeah, well, I was the same. I was heavily involved in drinking drugs when I was younger. I mean, I was taking a lot of drugs that you probably shouldn't have been taking from the age of 13 upwards, and yeah, so I had I had that, and then went through like the early stage of adulthood, like with a ended up with a cocaine habit, like one that got a little bit out of control, and and it was boxing that found that changed that. I'd been in and out of boxing through my childhood, like youth, nothing serious at all. I was always in combat sports. Like I was a national champion at karate when I was a
Mm.
junior, and then I played rugby at a decent level. Um, Up through my teens and into early adulthood, and then it was boxing that finally got me out of the pubs, got me away from the crowd that I was with and stuff like that, and kept me in the gym and put me on the straight and narrow. And then I've turned that into a positive, and now giving that back by changing other young people's lives because I can see exactly the same paths that they're walking.
Yeah. What was that point for you then? Was it outside influence from coaches, or was it something internal that made you think, right, I can't do this anymore with the drugs and the drinking? Was it a quick change?
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't quick change. I wouldn't
Mm.
say it was quick change. It was certainly an on and off kind of thing. But I always remember the moment, like Paul, that's behind me. This one here, this one there.
Yeah.
He literally came into the pub and found me with 2 pints in my hand and a fag in my mouth, like, and just took them off of me and pulled me out and took me straight to the gym and sat me down and gave me a good talking to. Like he literally
Um,
came out of his way to find me because he knew what was going on, and literally pulled me back into the gym, and then started putting me through me paces and getting me ready to go and compete and stuff like that. So that's kind of what changed. He knew what was going on the
mm.
outside because obviously they hear everything, um, and he was the one that changed my life around.
Wow, that's incredible because you don't assume, you know people's story looking at them. And on social media, you come across really successful, always busy doing your fire cooking. So I think it's really nice for people to hear what you've been through, because there might be people out there who they have children in that situation right now, or maybe they're in
Yeah,
that
yeah.
situation. And what kind of advice would you give to them if they're, in that dark place? Would boxing, be
Yeah,
recommended? Or
find something that works for you with your interest. Like I'm a firm believer that every young person should be doing combat sports,
yeah,
and should have tried combat sports, not for the just for the skill part of it, but for what the combat sports mean. And I'm not just talking boxing. You've got jujitsu, you've got
yeah,
karate, you've got kickboxing, any kind of combat sport because it teaches the disciplines of life that you need. Like it teaches you self-respect, like health, like gets you fit and healthy. Not, I'm not just talking physically, mentally as well. And also like you find as well, like the thing is like with people that like compete in boxing as well, they train so hard they're too tired to do anything else. Like so, and that's generally the truth. And you don't see them out like being with the wrong crowds and messing with it because they haven't got time and stuff like that. But just for your own mental well-being and improving your life, like combat sports will always humble people where they need to be humbled,
yeah,
and that's exactly what happened to me. Like I took many hidings in the gym, like along my way, do you know, like, and that's what humbles you. You go in like those with the big chip on their shoulder and the ego, that you get humbled very quickly in combat sports, and not in a bullyish way. It's just the natural way that it happens,
mm,
and also, and it brings you down to earth and resets you as the human being that you
mm,
should be, and teaches you self-respect and the disciplines that these sports require. You then they're all transferable skills. Like so,
yeah.
whether you're going for business or whatever you're doing, like do you know, like I've learned everything through sport. Like it's the way I look at it. I learned how to count through sport, by playing sport. Right, like I probably did learn at school. That I'm not saying, but I left school. I left school with no GCSEs. Yeah, I think I got two D's were my highest, and that was in sport. That was in PE, and that was in catering because I loved cooking and eating, and I loved playing sport. That was my only two things I was interested in. So the rest of them, I think back then because I was majority of my school life there, I was stoned every day. I think I wrote my name and put my head down and went to sleep in the exams. Like, it's funny to talk about, but it's not
Yeah.
something to be, like, proud of at all, like, and I wouldn't ever encourage, like, I wouldn't, like, it's funny when you say it, it sounds funny,
Mhm.
but it wasn't, like, do you know, like, what a mess, like, but now look, I've got 4 businesses, like, it hasn't held me back, but I
Yeah.
found my niche. I found my niche and found what I was going to do and pushed forward with it, and the disciplines that sport has taught me and helped me with is what's taken me into later life to to, like, run 4 businesses and launch whatever else is coming next, you know?
That's really powerful. I think there's definitely that's a big thing, and I can look back on my own, teenage years, and I was, quite a little shit as a teenager as well, and turned to alcohol instead of doing my
Yeah, yeah.
GCSEs. And I just think if I would have had
Remember
sports,
your
that
mum's
probably
watching, so don't be careful
yeah,
what you say.
she knows. Oh, she knows. I was terrible. But, if I would have had that, it would have given me an outlet. And I just think,
That's
yeah, the
right,
kids
yeah.
today, it's what
And
they
that's what a
need.
lot of it is, like, we still work with a lot of kids I see that are even, like, on a worse path than what I
Yeah.
was, like, they're involved in some serious stuff now, and we turn them round through sport, like, little
Mm,
initiatives like what we do, like, just out in the community, and then you feed them into, like, signposting them into a club of some sort, whatever their interest
yeah.
is. It may not be combat sports, it might be football, it might be rugby, like, it could be anything like that. Like, even the girls, we signpost them into netball programs and stuff
Sure.
like that, you know. So, like, there's always an outlet, and that's positive, and that's what
Mm,
they need. That's what like we like, and the thing, like, is what I say about combat sports, young people doing combat sports. Like, let's not sugarcoat it. We're in a horrible world, right? We're in a nasty, horrible world, like, that is getting worse with knife crime and all the rest of it, that you need to be able to defend yourself. You
mm,
need to know, because it's a horrible, like, especially around our way, like where we are, Kent, Medway, London, like that kind of area. It's getting worse and worse. Like, so you need to, they
yeah.
need to, people need to know how to defend themselves as well.
Exactly. I think that's a very important message. And, you know, I've got my boys in jiu-jitsu. I think it's so
Yeah,
important. I want to ask you about cooking with your mum when you were 8 years old, and how
yeah.
that inspired you.
Yeah, so my dad was a lorry driver. He's just retired, like, recently, but it
Right.
was always a lorry driver. So he was always away. So he was away, like, probably 4 nights of the week, because he'd be up the road, like, doing lorry driving. So that left us with not a lot to do. Back then, there was, I think, I'm 40 now, so, like, I think back then there was literally 4 channels on TV. So, you know, like, there weren't nothing like what we got now. So, but back then, so my mum, like, because I always had just showed an interest in eating, I'd say, more than the cooking side of it. Um, and my mum, like, because we didn't have much else to do, so she was like, right, come on, I'll take you know, I showed a little bit of interest, and then we started cooking together, like, and we'd just be cooking different meals, and that's where you learn. God, I remember some horrific stuff I used to make. Like, I'd throw a bit of this in, throw a bit of that in, and I taste it, go, wow, never again. That was awful. Like, and still do that today, because that's how we learn. Like, you learn through your mistakes, don't you? And yeah, yeah, that was our thing. We cooked in the kitchen, and that was kind of what it was. And when I'd go round and visit her after I'd moved out and stuff, like, inevitably our conversation, "Oh, I cooked this week, Mum." Like, "Oh, it was nice," like,
Yeah.
and that sort of stuff.
Well, that's lovely. It sounds like you really bonded over that. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
it's a testament, to your mum. She must have been an excellent cook to,
But
have inspired you.
she used to be a cook, like, in some pubs and stuff. Like, again, she wouldn't call herself a
Oh.
chef, so she had plenty of jobs where she was like the cook in, like, pubs and different stuff, and she was always home cooking and stuff. And which she was very good. But, like, I always make people laugh when I'm doing my like, my speech on stage and that. She was crap
Mm.
on barbecue, awful. Like, it was awful. It was always dry, overcooked, burnt, and everything. Like, you think of the burnt sausages and burnt, like, traditional British
Oh.
barbecue of burnt sausages and burnt. That was me mum. But if you had her in the kitchen, she'd make a beautiful pie or macaroni cheese. Like macaroni cheese was our staple. Really simple, but the way she
Yeah.
cooked it was a lot different to how you just think it's really simple. Even today, I can still never master how she had it. Like the cheese all stringy and all different the
Oh,
way
yeah.
that she had it, like with the ingredients she used. But like she'd make like all sorts of stuff, pies, casserole, like lasagna, homemade lasagnas, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, she could turn her hand to anything. She had a little recipe book that I found after when we were
Oh,
clearing the house out after she passed away. Like she had a little recipe book that I've got at home and stuff like that now.
oh, do you make things from there? From the
Yeah,
recipe book?
I've done a couple. Yeah, yeah. So like the lasagna and stuff, that kind of brings me back because I used to love that.
Wow.
Like, and I'm a bit strange in that thing. Like, especially with my mum's recipe, I eat it cold.
Mhm.
Like, I really like cold lasagna. It's really weird. Like everyone I tell,
Oh.
they said you're a bit weird. That is like Emma. Like I'll get home and there'll be cold lasagna on the side. She's like, "Do you want me to heat up?" I'm like, "No." Like, and that takes me back to my childhood, and I think that's what it is. I
Yeah.
used to I used to come in like mum would have it cooked. Like as I got into a teenager and I was out more, she'd cook it. I'd come home and like my bit would be on the side, and then I think I just started. I couldn't be bothered to put it in the microwave. It was probably that teenage thing, and I started eating it cold, and then I actually enjoyed it, and now it's kind of stuck with me. So I think that like brings it back. Like so, like when you've got the leftover lasagna, I'm happy as that. I am. Really odd, but that's yeah, it's just one of them things.
It's like, though, having cold pizza, isn't it, the day after? Yeah, I
Yeah,
kind of get
see,
it.
like, people I don't mind that, yeah, see, like,
Yeah.
I've got a mate that eats doner kebabs the next day, I'm like,
Oh, no.
that's past
Oh.
the limit for me.
I could draw the line there.
Wakes up and he's got a doner kebab at the bottom of his bed, and he starts eating it for breakfast, I'm like, "No, that's long past that, mate, you can't do
That's
that."
overdue, that is. Out of date. Oh my gosh. What was your inspiration to start cooking then? Because you said it helped you with mental health when you're
Yes, well,
going through a hard
I've
time.
always been cooking. I've always
Yeah.
like I'm the cook at home, so like I do the cooking. I always make like tell people if I come in and Emma's got the right hump, I know she's been cooking. Like so I know that's it. I say, "Oh, you've been cooking, love, have you?" Like that. She knows because she doesn't like doing it. So I've always been cooking.
Oh.
Always like you kind of express yourself through it, like try different things and I think probably that part from my mum where she used to cook for other people all the time. I think that came through me. Like you're happy to cook for people and see them enjoy the food that you make, and
Yeah.
that kind of yeah got just it was like it's always been my switch off. I'd come home from
Good.
work, well, no matter what was going on, I'd go out in the garden, I'd light the fire, I'd just sit and stare at the fire. Like I'd just stare at it and I'd just cook and I'd just forget about anything else that's going on. And that's what yeah, there's a lot of people that are like in bushcraft and stuff like that. They all talk about the same thing. It's like there's
Yeah.
something with the flame that just connects with you that you just feel at peace when you're just watching a fire. Like you just sit there
Brilliant.
and it's silence. You hear the crackles. You hear nothing else, just that, and it switches you off from whatever's going on. And especially with live fire cooking, like I explain to people, is like anything can go wrong with live fire cooking. Like it's different. You've got to smoke a barbecue. You lift the lid up, you put it down. But live fire cooking, flames can go and you burn things in seconds. So you get immersed in it. So
Mm.
it's just like yeah, it's just kind of my switch off, and then when I go over to the woods, like I think nothing better than having a big fire and then seeing what I can cook, and it just kind of switches me off from everything, and I find at peace and I feel refreshed when I've come away from it. Like even now, to like I will go to the woods and I'll sit there. I've got a little Wi-Fi box, so sometimes I'll just go up there with my laptop and work from there because I've just got complete
Right.
silence up there. I can hear the owls and all that, and I have no people around me in my ears saying, "Wayne, I need this. Wayne, I need that." So I can just get away from everyone. It's brilliant. I think
Oh,
as
it
the
sounds
older you get
lovely.
as well, like my dad's the same as well. He doesn't do many people now. Like, I think the older you get, I used to think it was a bit strange because I've always been a social creature, always been out in the pubs and out and socialising and doing this or sports and that. But now I've got older, I find nothing better than being out in the woods on my own. It's lovely, peace and
I can see
quiet.
my dad doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Honestly,
no,
I don't know why, because I never used to be like it, but now I've got to 40, I think, like, and I've done it. I've gone, yeah, I can see exactly
yeah,
why you guys do that now. I just want the peace and
yeah,
quiet. It's a hectic
especially if you've
world,
got
though, isn't
kids.
it? We're in a hectic world,
Yeah,
aren't we? So it's like it's nice to have
it is.
somewhere that you can just switch off.
Yeah, especially with social media, and you've got children as well, haven't you, in a family
Mm,
life, and that can
mm,
be quite, it can be quite intense, especially, with your daughter's diagnosis.
mm.
How was that, an influence in your sort of family life? Because that must have been quite hard to deal with at the time.
Yeah, it's turned our lives upside down. It still has. Like, like we
Yeah,
don't live a normal family life as you call normal. Like we have, like we're hospital trips every month. Like there's a hospital, there's physio every week. There's constant daily things that you're always doing. Everything has to be adapted for her. Like everything,
yeah,
like fortunately, touch wood, like cognitively, she's more than all there. She's probably further ahead than my son was at his age. Like her problem is mobility. So
yeah.
obviously, as she's getting older and getting bigger, we're now finding more challenges and stuff like that. So every day, huge challenge. But as you can imagine, like yourself, when you she was diagnosed at 18 months, but we had a torrid time of getting that diagnosis because it was during lockdown and everything, and we couldn't find a doctor to get hands on or even see her. And like we recognized there was something wrong from like 7 8 months. Like she was just
Oh,
wasn't
wow.
hitting milestones, and we kept getting told, "Oh, babies develop at different times," and all that. That was
Yeah,
the common one that we kept getting told, um and we were like, and even at the beginning, I was probably part believing that, but Emma, like mother's instinct, she always knew from day. She said something's not
yeah,
right like that, and I was like, no, she's all right like this. But then I started noticing it, and then we
mm,
got to a stage where I think it was about 12 months, 14 months, something like that, I think, where it was very quite obvious that things weren't right. She was regressing, like she was losing
oh,
things that she could do, like rolling over. She'd done that a couple of times. She stopped doing that, lifting her head up, and she couldn't lift her head up, couldn't lift her legs up, that sort of stuff. And we were on the phone. I remember being on the phone to the doctor that at the time, and we said, look, she's regressing, and he said we don't use that word regressing, and we said we don't give a shit what word you use, but we're
yeah,
telling you what is going on, and now we need something done about this because no one's listening to us or helping us or taking us seriously. Well, he then got the blood tests, and he lost them. He lost the bloody blood tests.
oh,
They
yeah,
didn't arrive at the lab or anything, and then we lost 3 months there. And
oh,
then we finally got hold of someone else, and the Evelina, straight up at the Evelina, and we got the diagnosis within 2 weeks. They fast tracked the bloods, and we got
lovely,
the diagnosis. We'd already, like, my wife had researched everything like you do, like you
yeah,
Google everything, didn't you? And we'd come to the thought, like, she's got spinal muscular atrophy. Everything's leading that way,
yeah,
and that's what we got the shattering news that it was true. And like it's been different for me than it is my wife. It shatters your world, right? It does shatter your world. But like I've grown up, my auntie's severely disabled. She's severely handicapped, like my mum's sister. So I've had it in my family. Almost, so I don't know no different. So
mhm,
and I have the attitude. All right, well this is the cards we've got. We've got to get on with it, haven't we?
yeah,
And we'll overcome whatever obstacles in our way. But yeah, it's and there's been some real dark times, and there continues to always be challenges, and there will always be challenges through our lives with her diagnosis. But she's a happy little soul, and she more than enough tells everyone what she wants. That's for sure.
yeah,
She'll scream, shout, and and give her brother a bollocking all the time, and scream and shout and tell you what she wants and what she don't want. So she's very vocal, and we wouldn't change it for the world, you know. So it's just one of these things that you have to face, isn't it? And that's why, like, I try and raise as much money as I can to help, like, the charities that have helped us. So
Yeah, you did the London Marathon in a wheelchair, didn't you?
yeah, I did. Yeah, yeah. That for all my sins, I say it was I say it was the most incredible and most horrific experience of my life, all rolled in one. I think it was. So it took me 9 hours, 3 minutes, 35 seconds is how long it took me.
Wow.
Um, and the was it 9 3? Yeah, 9 hours, 3 minutes, 35 seconds. I always remember that. And yeah, it was incredible. I raised £18,000, so like for Demelza, which was really
That's
good. And
fantastic.
um, because it's yeah, I've always kind of set myself challenges, things that scare me that I think you ain't gonna do this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I can assure you, there was many times going around London thinking I ain't gonna do this. Like I had the sweeper vehicles behind me; they were trying to push me onto the path, but I stayed strong. I refused to go on the path. I ended up, I think it was because 26.2 miles is the marathon, but unless people know that there's only there's a track that you follow. There's arrows on the floor or on the marathon. If you follow them arrows, you will do 26.2 miles. But I had
Mm.
to keep going across the road, across the road, across the road. And it worked out on my Strava. I did over 29 miles, like doing that track because of the zigzagging,
Wow.
having to cross roads and stuff like that. But yeah, it took 9 hours. I finished I missed the cut off of finishing outside the palace by 20 minutes. They closed the gates because they have to close it off like for the really late people. And I finished down in the park. I forget what the park's called. St James Park,
Yeah.
and I finished down in there. But the thing was, like mine. I ended up with more incredible because I was so slow at the back. I ended up with my family walking around with me, like, and so
Oh.
it's there and everything, like, coming around the back with me because I was at the back. I was at the back of everything, and then we got to finish with them all at the finish line, which you wouldn't have got if I finished at the natural one. So there was a good story to it. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was certainly it was a great achievement. But it was, yeah,
Yeah.
at the same time, I think it took me about 3 weeks to even just be able to, like, feel. I think I trapped nerves in my neck. I had no
Oh.
feelings in my arms and stuff like that. I had to have lots and lots of physio. But we got it done, and we raised a lot of money for a great charity that help us.
Yeah, that's absolutely incredible that, you did that and it was inspired by your daughter and like what got you through it? Because I'm sure, like you said, there were times when you thought, I just can't carry on. Like what was your thought in your head to push you on?
Just that she's got a life in a wheelchair. Like,
Yeah.
the least I could do is 26 miles.
Well,
So, like, I just thought that's all that I've got to get this done. Like, I've got to get this done. I've got to show her that anything's possible, and show Archie as well. So, and that's what got me through it, really. Like, was having them, and they were behind me as well. Like I say, they got to come around like the end. I think they found me at, I think it was mile 18. Mile 18, they picked
oh,
me up and they stayed with me right to the end. So it was, yeah, it was good. It was good in that aspect.
what an incredible achievement that was. Wow. Well done.
Yeah, and I've been asked a couple of times, would I do it again? And like Emma said, no, straight away. She said, we're not going through that again. She said, like the training, like it's not just that day. Like it was like six
Mhm.
months training, going up and down the towpath in a wheelchair, like doing miles and miles, and like going through all of that. And even Emma said, no, you ain't doing that again. Said no, done that
Once is
one.
enough.
Yeah, you've ticked that box. You're not doing that one. Find something else to do. You're not doing that one again. But because I did get asked to do it again, but I was just like, no, it takes it's a lot of investment for that. Um, but I tend to, like, every kind of year or by years, I will do some kind of crazy challenge. Like, so I've done bike rides, I've done like the wheelchair, I've done boxing matches,
Um,
and lots of other different stuff, that just trying to I like to raise money for good charities. So it's just like this is the thing that challenges me.
Yeah.
I need something that scares the life out of me to motivate me to do something, to really like it, like physical challenges. Like for me, well, I've had two hip replacements, so going to the gym and like I can't do boxing anymore or anything like that. Um, that I need things that really motivate me, that catch you in the heart there, and scare the living daylights out of me to make me know that I have to put my all in to achieve this, or otherwise it's not going to happen.
What's next on the cards?
No idea at the moment. I've got too many businesses to run at the moment. I'm just trying to settle with this at the moment. But
Yeah.
I've always wanted to cycle Land's End to John O'Groats. I've always wanted to
Oh,
do that
fab.
one.
Yeah.
Started training to do it one year, and then that was when I found that I needed my first hip operation. But at the moment, I'm facing another hip operation at the moment. So yeah, everything's out of the window at the
Another
moment.
one is in a replacement
Not
for
a
your
full
other
replacement. Yeah, the
graft.
latest one that they did, which was 2 years ago, hasn't worked. So I'm in
Oh,
pain every
lucky.
day still, and it's restricts everything. Like, I'm 40 years old. I've had 2 hip replacements. It's not good. I was born with some abnormalities apparently. I had a bump on my femur bone, and doing all the contact sports and everything that I've done all my life, like they obviously all worn out, and I ended up bone on bone. So like I spent um like a few years where I was basically on crutches all the time. Like I couldn't walk. Like I'd have electric
Gosh.
shocks uh, uh, and that kind of thing. And like even now, I think last week I took the kids bowling, and like, I was just bowling. Literally, I had to go home, take loads of painkillers, and go to bed because
Oh,
I could hardly walk. So like kicking a football. My boy Archie, he wants to play football at the moment. He's getting into his
right.
football, so he's like, "Dad, let's go and play football." And I go and do it because I'm not missing out on it, and I
Mm.
refuse to. But like we get in, I have to take painkillers and go and lay down, and put my leg up because I can't move. And it should be right at 40. Like especially with the latest one, like the first one's fine, but the latest one's not. They think it might have come loose, so got to go in and take it all out again. So
That's annoying.
and do it again. Yeah, it's
How
not good, and
annoying.
I'm certainly not looking forward to the surgery, that's for sure,
No,
because it's not nice surgery at all.
no, it's not. My mum has 2 hip replacements, and
Mm.
it's a nasty thing to go through, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It really isn't good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Tell
well,
us.
it's another obstacle, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Overcoming obstacles, that's what the
That's
theme
it.
of this is, exactly. Tell us about your 4 businesses then. So, how do they intertwine synergistically, or is it separate things that you keep separate, or
No, they do intertwine. So Olympia Boxing, Sport on Your Doorstep are basically the same things. But Olympia Boxing obviously does what it says on the tin is boxing, but Sport on Your Doorstep covers a multi-sport approach. So they kind of intertwine with each other fairly well. And then like the boxing in schools is the training business, so it's the accredited course, so I had to set up a separate entity for that, because the Olympia Boxing Sporting Deal set are both CICs, so they're community interest companies. So they're like charities, basically. So the training company set that up as a separate entity, as a limited business, so that runs alongside its own. And then obviously now Daddy Bear Grylls has kicked off, and that's its own madness of world.
yeah.
So that is completely separate and different to it all.
Where did the name come from for Daddy Bear
No, it came
Grylls?
from the kids, that was. So, yeah, so, like, Archie, we call Archie Bear. That was it, because a lot of people thought, because 'cause I'm, like, into the camping and outdoors, they thought it was all to do with Bear Grylls, but it was nothing to do with Bear Grylls. I actually like being in the woods, whereas he gets helicoptered out and stays in hotels, so we've found out. But, no, it's nothing to do with him. We call Archie Bear, like, and that was his nickname, and he would call
Oh,
me Daddy Bear, and then they came home with my apron. So in all the videos, you see me wearing a brown leather apron. It's got a badge on it. It says Daddy Bear on it, and
oh.
um, and then it just went Daddy Bear Grills, like, and I was like, well, there's the name sorted there, isn't it? So we got the name. It's kind of stuck with the branding, and as it's seen from the barbecue community, everyone seems to like the branding, but it's standing out as well, which is like, yourself in business, you've got to stand out. So it's the brand stands out and it's growing, which is really good.
Oh, that's such a cute story. I love that. Because you do
Yeah.
think obviously Bear Grylls, but, coming
Yeah,
from
it's
your
what a lot of
son.
people think it is, but
Yeah.
it's not. It hasn't, like, and we all obviously. I had to trademark it quickly
Oh,
before
yeah?
any. Yeah, I trademarked it, but it's all spelt like grills, like for Bear Grylls, is spelt GRYLLS, whereas mine's like a grill, like GRILLS. So, um, it is differentiate, and actually has no bearing on it. Like, it's not, it's never been part of what I do, as like being connected to him as such.
Oh, that's so nice. In terms of Daddy Bear Grylls then, what do you do? Share with my listeners what all the
Yeah,
outdoor
so
about.
So we have the live fire cooking woodland experiences. So people come down to my woods in Kent, and they'll come for a full day of, it's all hands on. So I like to call it an experience rather than a class, because that's exactly what
Okay.
it is. We have people where you get there after you've had breakfast and your tea and coffee, like you'll be chopping wood. And so you'll start chopping the wood for the fires, and then we'll take you through a fire lighting, like, master class. Like Alex, my assistant, like my right hand man, who's been through everything with me. He's really, really good at bushcraft. So, like, if you come to my woods and you see the way everything's been built, that's all him. Like, I'm the
Wow.
man that sits there over the grill, cooks that, and drinks a couple of beers, where he makes everything. So, um, he's made all that, and he does the firelighting expo, which he'll take through to showing lots of primal methods that, like, our ancestors would, by using stuff from the outdoors, like birch bark and pine resin and stuff like that. Things that you can flint and steel, like use like your flints and that for it, to get to light fires without a lighter, basically, to just teach you how to do all
Oh,
that. So we go through that, and then we go on to the cooking, hands-on cooking. So I get everyone making flatbreads, like, that they've never done, and cooking them directly on the coals, and like chicken shawarma, and then we have like bigger.
mhm.
So, like, I like my Middle Eastern food, and I like South American food, so Argentinian, Brazilian, that kind of stuff. Like big cuts of meat hung over fire, so it's called asado style. So I do a lot of that, and then fish, and yeah, it's all hands on. Like, those that want to get hands on, because some people don't want to get hands on; they just want to stand there, watch, learn, and just
Mm.
eat and have a good day out, which is absolutely fine. But
Yeah.
some people want to get hands on, so everyone gets an apron and a booklet. They
Oh.
walk away with that, and then we sit round and have a feast at the end of it. So it's like the ultimate day out in the woods. Like, it's basically showing everyone, like the how well, and how much you feel relaxed and everything when you leave, and sharing with people the experience I get. So the
Mm.
experience that it's done for me, it's sharing it with other people, and getting them into the art of cooking over fire, because it's a lot easier than what some people think. Like, people get
Mm.
scared because of the fires and the flames, but if you relax
Yeah.
and you're patient and you understand, like, obviously the safety around it, that you've
Yeah.
got to be, can't be silly with it. With fire's fire, so you got to make sure that you've got your safety, but you teach all of that, and then everyone gets the beauty of, like, cooking over fire, which is, you just can't get indoors or on a gas grill. So, and then it's just turning people into, like, realizing, especially in Britain, because the British barbecue is seen as sausages, burgers, and chicken, and all of it's burnt. So
Yeah.
teach them how to cook properly and cook some really delicious meals, um, and it puts smiles on people's faces, and they take it home and they do it for their families as well.
How would you suggest someone to get started with that?
Just go and light a fire. Like, go
Mm.
and go and get your grill and go and start. Like, I tell the story of my first ever barbecue, like cooking over fire. I used to work on the roads. I used to do tarmacking, like, when I was younger, and we worked away down in Wiltshire, and we were down there for the whole season, like, of the summer. So, like, I think it was, like, from April to September, we were based down there, and we lived in the council yard. Right, in
Wow.
caravans and stuff like that. We'd go and have our showers in this leisure centre. We literally lived and camped and worked. And we nicked a trolley, right? So we nicked a trolley. I'm not going to say from what establishment, but we nicked a trolley. And we grinded it. So you know the flatbed ones that you've just got like the high top like that, and you have the like the grill, and it's just about that
Oh,
much like the high
yeah.
top ones. And we got the grinder and we cut that off, and then we got a slab, and we broke a slab into four, so we had it raised off the ground. Then we'd make our fire underneath it. But we all used to put £5 in each every night there. Right back then, that took you quite far, and
Yeah.
that'd be all our beer and all our food for every night after our day's work. And we cooked
Wow.
and we lived on that grill for honestly 6 months. That was our cooker. Like, and that's what I said. That it doesn't have to be fancy stuff. You just need a good fire. I still, even though I'm a brand ambassador for Cadai, and I've got fire cages and Kamado style barbecues, I still quite often will just use my campfire in the woods, and I'll make some sticks and hang things over it just because I like doing it. Like, and it's fun. Like, and it just how easy it has to be. Like, I do a lot of demos where I actually cook in the coals. Like, I will cook.
Mm.
I'll make a nice bed. Like, I'm doing it next week. I think I'm in Surrey on a brewery where I'm doing some demos over a couple of days, and I'm literally doing it. It's called Dirty Caveman Cooking. So it's like cooking like the caveman. It's dirty steaks, dirty vegetables. But people, when you see it doing, it blows people's brains. But what blows their brains even more is when they taste it. So you cook
Mhm.
directly in the coals, and it's absolutely delicious. So you get a good bed of coals, literally put the steak on. Like, it's a certain steak. You don't get like a ribeye with loads of fat. You can put ribeyes. I cook tomahawks on the coals
Mm.
sometimes. It's not my favorite way of doing them. But there's a steak called a bavette steak, which is like a really cheap steak. It's a cheap cut that not a lot of people use. You get that and it's perfect. It's not long and flat, and you literally put it on the coals, and you just turn it over, and you just knock off the charcoal that's there. And same with the vegetables, literally bury them in the coals. Like, they'll come out, they look like they're black, right? And they look like charcoal. All you do is you peel the layer off, and you've got this beautiful, sweet vegetable that's brought out its own sugars and caramelized, and just from the heat. So, like the onions, for instance, they're the greatest. It's the easiest example. The onions, right? They come out all translucent. Like if you fried onions, yeah, you know how they go all translucent
Yeah.
and droopy and all that. Well, if you do a dirty onion, that's how it comes out. But you've used no fat, you've used nothing. All it is the heat from the coals, and it's caramelized in its own sugars within the vegetable. It's absolutely delicious. My
My
favourite one's
mouth
a
is
beetroot. I do that.
watering.
When I show people that, they go, "Wow!" Like, it blows their brain. And when they taste it, they go, "Oh my! I just couldn't, never even thought of that, like doing it like that."
Yeah.
And I do that on stage quite often because it's always it's so simple. It's so simple. You don't even need a barbecue. You just need a fire, and you need some coals, and just go and have a go. And like, you won't
Yeah.
look back. That's the way it is. Or more so, come down to my woods and come and learn from me, and then you'll have all the skills that you need.
Yeah. Wow. That's incredible. I've never even heard of that.
Have
So
you not? No. Yeah, some
no.
people don't. It's because it's not. It's just. It's not very well out there. Like, I
Mm.
cook bread on the coals, like flatbreads. I'll put them straight on the
Oh,
coals, and you watch them bubble up, bubble, bubble, and then you have to turn them over, and it's done. Like, people say, like, you're not getting the charcoal on there. What about the charcoal? You don't taste the charcoal, for starters, and also what people don't realise, like, charcoal is like an antiseptic as well. So
yeah. Okay.
it won't hurt you. I think there's tribes out in the world that still use charcoal to clean. Like, they'll clean it. Like, if you look at teeth now,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you look at
Yeah.
toothpaste. A lot of toothpaste got charcoal in because it's the whitening agent and stuff like that.
Mm.
So, like, yeah, don't like it just adds a bit of flavour, that's all.
Don't be afraid, guys.
Don't be afraid. No, go and have a
Let us
go, go
know.
and have a go.
Let us know down below if you have a go at that.
Yeah.
Right, I want to wrap up with some quick fire questions now. So these are ones I ask every guest that comes on. I'm really intrigued to see what you've got to say. So the first one is, do you have any rituals that you do daily?
Do I have any rituals that I do daily? Well, I don't put one sock on before the other, but I used to, yeah, no, what I should be back into is my cold plunges like you. I do that.
Yeah.
I should be doing them a lot more. Now, stretching, I would say at this moment in time, the only thing that I really do every day is stretching, because if I don't stretch, I can't move. So
Oh,
that's pretty much that. But stretching and trying to get a bit of me time in the morning before the kids wake up. So I like to read. Like, I'll get up, stretch, and even just read a chapter of the book, complete silence with a cup of coffee before the world wakes up.
that sounds nice and peaceful. What kind of books do you read?
All self-development business books.
Yeah.
Like, I'll read them in the morning. I can't read them at night because I won't sleep, because my brain then goes into work mode, and like it just goes off. Like, so I've never been a fiction reader anyway. I can't read fiction. I have to read. I only ever used to be able to read biographies before I got into self-improvement books. So yeah, that's why I tend to. I might read my magazines that I've got
Mhm.
in the evening, but like in the morning is when I rev up for the day for business. So reading them books really help me.
Is there anyone that you would recommend?
God, there's loads, isn't there?
Oh,
What am I currently? One of them, Launch, was really good. That one, that's the only book I've ever read twice,
oh
and
wow.
struggling now. Can't remember the author's name off the top of my head right here and right now, but it's a yellow book. It's called Launch. It's about
Mhm.
launching products or online. I think it's online as well. It's just launching products, and that is a fantastic book. Like, if like for business, it's a really good book. It covers lots of things. But like recently, I'm reading Alex Hormozy's books. Like, he's
Oh
just
yeah, he's got
like the god of marketing. So like
yeah.
they're really really good.
Okay, next one. What describe what wellness means to you?
Just trying to be happy in yourself, I think. Um, and there's one thing that I have to work on. That is like one of my big things that I have to work on myself. Because I wouldn't say I'm on the top of my game with that ever. Because I'm never
Right.
content. I'm one of them people that's never content. I've achieved a lot in my life. I really have, and I know I have as well. And it's not. I don't say that with a big ego, but I do know I have achieved a lot in my life. But I don't tend to be content with it. I'm always looking for the next thing. So being wellness and realizing what you've done and looking after yourself a bit better is definitely key. And that's what I look at as wellness, and it's one of my traits I have to work on.
Yeah, we've all got something, haven't we, that we're, seeking to improve on,
Mm.
definitely. And it's nice to have something to work towards as well. Is there a message that you would like to leave with our listeners?
So I try and say, like, there's flavour, and there's flavour in every flames, and there's memories in every meals. Like, so try and
Oh,
remember that. And it's just and if you're striving to do something, you have this urge that you want to go and do something, start a business, start this, start that, anything, go and do it. Just
yeah.
go and have a go at it. I always say, what's the worst that can happen? Like, if you're launching a business, what's the worst that can happen? You just end up getting another job. You're not going to stop breathing, are you? Like that.
Yeah.
You've got to break things down like that, and regret the things you've done, not the things that you haven't done, because that's a big
Oh,
one. Don't ever
yeah.
regret not doing something. If you want to do something, go and do it, and you have to work for it, because no one hands you anything on the plate.
I think that's a really nice message to finish on. Thank you so much for coming on, Wayne. Where can our listeners find you?
So you can find me many places, but yeah, all the social media platforms. You can find me personally at Wayne Smith Living, or the one that I'm mostly doing and that everyone seems to be interested in is feeding their bellies, is at Daddy Bear Grills. So if you go and follow at Daddy Bear Grills on YouTube, Instagram, you'll see me doing something silly in the woods most days.
Oh, brilliant. I'll be sure to link all of that below in the show
Thank
notes.
you.
Thank you so much for coming on. It's
No,
been a
thank you for
pleasure.
having me.
And to all our listeners, thank you for tuning in, and be sure to tune in next week for the next episode.